everybody, it's Tessie and Charles, and we are here with episode 3 of Vows and Verdicts. And we are going to talk about a question that we get asked a lot about, and that is how we manage to work together. It's interesting, this is our second time working together.
Yeah, the first one was interesting.
How so?
Um, Younger, a lot more immature, a little bit more selfish, and not adapting and moving as well. Living a little bit longer, knowing how to address some of the conflicts that came up second go round. Just being more mature.
I think when we opened the first firm, I had been an attorney for maybe 4 years total, been licensed for maybe 4 years. And I had been a prosecutor in the beginning, and Charles had the idea that I could open a firm and do that. And so he left his position with Verizon and worked with me to open a firm together. And that was our first experience working together. And I think at that time, again, with age, being 8 years older than you, and I think our personalities are very, very different. I was a lot more business minded, in my opinion, than you were during that time. And having been the attorney, I knew a lot more about what we were doing than you knew. And so I was the attorney, the paralegal, or the legal assistant. I had to do all of the legal work. And your role at that time was a lot more, it was a lot more behind the scenes stuff. Like you handled a lot more of the marketing, the advertising. You found the office, set up all the technology stuff, like the software systems and all that kind of stuff. I didn't know anything about that, had no interest in learning. And so our natural talents and skill sets kind of naturally divided us in who was going to do what, even the first go around. And then we decided to have another child, and then you went back to the fire department, and I was a solo for a while until you joined the firm again. I think back in 2021 is when you came back to the firm full time.
Sounds about right. I mean, I think a lot of what we did was, like you said, the natural strengths and weaknesses. Yeah, the set this up, you're going to court, I'm going with you. And it just worked itself out kind of seamlessly. It just when the conflict came of how to do certain things in the order. But we managed.
Yes. I think for us, when we started working together the first time, it was a lot more, in my mind, ego trips, both ways. I was very set on how I wanted things done, and my name was going to be on it. And I felt like I'm going to court when you were helping me with some of the document preparation type of thing. You wanted to do it your way, and I was insistent upon about it being done a particular way because, again, it's representing me. I'm going to court. The court's going to be calling my name. The client's looking at me. And so I want it done the way I want it done because it represented me. And we argued a lot about that. I think that point was a sore spot a lot between us. So I'll do it myself rather than you doing it if you can't do it the way I want you to do it just because you want it to be in control, in my opinion, of I'm doing it, I can do it this way. Just, in my opinion, just to be difficult. Just because you want to be in control of it.
That is one opinion.
Yeah.
I was trying to do it the way that made sense in my head. And
His head wasn't going to court, mine was.
So we disagreed. We agreed to disagree on some of those things. And later on, we still disagree, but it is what it is, and I'll do it her way sometimes.
Emphasis on sometimes. When we have disagreements now, coming back together, it's a very different. When we worked together before, it was just me and him. We didn't have any other employees. My brother came to work with us. That was more of entertainment. They played video games, hung out, long lunches, and that was for a couple of months.
We worked hard. We were filing paperwork and motions frivolously.
You're right, frivolously. You're right, frivolously filing motions.
We met deadlines. We drafted motions.
None of this is true. So
we thought we were.
Anyway, they were in there hanging out, filing entry of appearances and leave of absence, and that's about the extent of that. And I did the rest of the legal work. But this go around, having a business coach and it being a lot more to do and employees and a lot more management, when you joined back this time, you helped with the client relations portion of it, still not the legal part, because again, you're not an attorney. A lot more of the admin and the payroll and insurances and stuff like that. When we have conflicts now,
We've
I'm
gotten to
trying
a
to think
different
of
place.
what our conflicts are about
We've gotten
now,
to a different
though.
place. I mean, it's one of those things that counselors are a great thing, and some of the tools and the things that they've taught us along the way to kind of get through those problems of, hey, let's talk about it later. If it's not going anywhere, trying to put different things in place to make it easier to come up with a resolution. There were none of those. The first go round, there weren't any counseling sessions. There weren't anything to, we hadn't put anything or known of anything to put in place to, all right, we have this issue. How do we work through it? We now understand that, okay, if we're having this argument, this is where this person's point of view is coming from. These are the things that they need to hear or need heard or said so they feel heard. So that it's 10 years fast forward. Yeah, you've learned your person a little bit more. So it's easier to get through some of these conflicts. Had I known those things 10 years ago, then we would have been that much further. But they weren't even introduced to be able to come to a resolution. And some of it was just time and maturity that helped with that. But I mean, one of the things that when I left the fire department that a guy had told me that stuck with me, he worked with his wife and he had said that when you have those arguments, you both don't go to the office on the same day. That's the day that you may take off or you stay home to get caught up on whatever it is. You go play a round of golf. I'm not a golfer, but that little piece of advice helped because now we have multiple employees. And if we do get into an argument and we have to go to work, it may not be known, but the rest of the team can feel it. So it's okay, if this is the space that we're in, we both don't need to be here. We can still come to work and get it done, but being in that same space, sometimes us not being in the same space will allow us to still move the needle and check off some of the boxes for the things that need to get done.
Even when we work from home, I'll work in the lower level of the house. I'll work in the terrace level, basement, whatever you want to call it, and he'll work upstairs. So there's literally a floor between us. He's on the top floor and I'm on the third floor. So if we're working from home and we're not seeing eye to eye on something, then we just now kind of fall into a place where we give each other space while we are disagreeing. But generally, whatever we're disagreeing about with space, when we come back to it, we can have the conversation without the emotion. I feel we can have the conversation without the emotion and make the decision about what's best for the firm or the family, whatever it is. I realize the older I get how much my childhood affects who I am as a wife, as a mom, and even as a businesswoman. And a lot of me needing to be in control is mine to own. Coming into this space, the same thing is true. A lot of growing this business and scaling this business has been a lot of growth, personal growth, of understanding and feeling comfortable with other people, including you, taking ownership of something. And I don't have to do everything. And I don't have to master everything. And it doesn't have to be me. But because of how I was raised, a lot of my life, I felt like if I didn't do it, it wasn't going to be done right. And so I'm in a place and space in my life where I'm free and resolved of that belief that I have to do everything. And if Charles is mastering section A, I can focus all my time on mastering section B. And together we come together and we've done more, faster, better. I don't have to know everything. And so now the goal is to focus on the who, not how. When we first had the business together, I felt like I had to know how to do everything. Now I'm more focused on who is the best person to do that task. Who's the best person for marketing? Who's the best person for this task and that task, instead of Tessie trying to master everything, because nobody can master everything. But like you said, they came with age and growth. And you're say 10 years down the line. We have been together for this end of this year will be 20 years.
37.
It will be 20 years, I think, in November.
I like to say 37 because you're putting it in the universe that it's going to take that long. I had been saying 17 for so long that when we crossed it, I said, okay, I got to come up with a new number. So
Yeah, we
it'll
had been
always be
married.
way more than whatever she says.
We had been married for 4 or 5 years, and someone would say, "How long you guys been married?" 17, 17, and then we passed our 17-year wedding anniversary, and so
It's
now
like, oh man, I got to come up with something new.
November 12th will be our 19th year wedding anniversary. So we dated for like 11 months before we got married. So we've been together for about 20 years in total, and it's been a lot of growth.
And even
Yeah.
going back to saying what she when you were talking about what it was for you, for me, I
Mhm.
guess with the conflict, I would avoid it a lot. And it's difficult to, for one, because we work together, when you have that conflict, it's hard because you don't have the space to separate it. And in one of my, I guess, issues that I needed to work through was I can't. What do you need? What
Hey, gone. So our son was, if you could just pause and cut that out. He was at the door dancing, just being silly, having a daddy moment, like acting like you.
he gets it from his mom. But what I was saying was one of the issues that I had was always avoiding it. And earlier on, working together, you can't keep avoiding it. Eventually, you have to address it. And now, I guess part of one of the things is yeah, well, you somewhat don't have the time to decompress from it, but also understanding the bigger picture, I have to address it. So, okay, we'll have this hour or two to decompress, but eventually I still need to go to Tessie. We got to talk about it, come up with a resolution because it's going to fester. So that was one of the things that, no, this is still a work in progress. And I'm not saying that
Mm-hmm.
I have it figured out, but I know that you avoiding it, it's not going to go anywhere, and and you're still going to have to address it, and we might address it 7 or 8 more times, which annoy her that you ain't been listening. No, I heard you, but the angle that you're coming from still doesn't make sense to me, and we can talk about it for another 3 hours. It doesn't mean that it's going to have any more clarity, but hopefully it moved the needle, and we're closer to a resolution than further away from it. So I mean that has been something that, again, it's a work in progress, and no, we don't have it figured out, but definitely taking away some of the tools that we get from different coaches and people that we meet, it becomes easier to work together
I think for
over
me, one of the
time.
biggest things that I've learned is that it is okay for us to be different. I've always felt like it was okay for us to be different. And you used to get offended when I used to say that we're so different. We are very different from the way that we were raised.
The timing of it sometimes just would be
We are so
off for me.
different. We're so different. But we are very different. And I've learned to appreciate the differences more in the last 4 or 5 years than I ever did before. If we were both the same, we would implode. My head would pop off and spin around. I am a whole lot of mess over here. Is a whole lot over here. And two of us at that angle, at that rate, it would be insane. And sometimes my biggest moment of gratitude about you and for you is the calm that you bring to our relationship because you are not a 10 and I am a 10 plus. I am enough in
It's
that
great.
compartment for
That
both of
focus is
us.
amazing, except when it's on something I don't want it to be focused on.
I have this obsessive compulsion to do the things I want to do. And it is like this burning desire. If I decide I'm going to do something, it is hard to shake, almost in an unhealthy way. When people ask me, as I've said before, very openly, I was 15 and pregnant. I had a kid. I had another child at 18, 21, 24, 25. Like I had 5 kids when I started law school. How did you go to law school with 5 kids? How did you get from high school dropout teen mom to where you are? This obsessive determination to do what I want to do has been a blessing and a curse. And so when I decide I'm going to go to law school, that is what's going to happen. When I decide I'm taking the bar one time and I'm going to pass it, that is what's going to happen. When I decide that I'm going to scale this business and do that, that's what's going to happen. So at times when I'm like, okay, you ready? You want to do this? You sure? And I try to check in. You sure? You sure? You understand what this looks like? You understand my focus and how this is going to go?
I understand your focus.
Let's
Do I
move.
understand what it looks like? Absolutely not, because I've never seen it. So halfway through, oh, I wasn't ready. No, please. And it is what it is. You shake it off, an adult, put your big boy pants on, and keep pushing.
But I will have these impulses that wake me up at night, and I need to go deal with that right now. I have thoughts and ideas and strategies.
When they come out in the middle of the night of, hey, were you asleep? No, not
I have an
anymore.
idea. Hey, I have
I'm
an
awake.
idea.
That's just some of the you let it go. People ask, can she turn it off?
Most of the time, no.
Just learn how to deal with it and try to redirect and make sure that it doesn't sound rude. You can't say, I don't want to hear about this. Well, what about those Knicks? They're doing great. Charles, your timing, but they play tomorrow. Do you want to watch them?
But it's not just true of you. It is, again, building a team around you and people who understand your weirdness matches my weirdness, because there's things about you that you can't turn off, and it's not business. For me, it's growing the firm. I understand how the growth of this business affects my family, not just now, not just my children, grandchildren, but for generations to come. And that excites me. The legacy that I'm building, the new trajectory for my family for generations to come excites me, and I'm almost giddy. And I love problem solving and puzzles. So all of those things that come together and me being in control of my future and my great 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 grandchildren's future based on what I do now, it makes me excited. On the same note though, I try to carve out little time for us.
Which
For instance,
you do a lot better job of it than I do. I am not the planner. I don't do the surprises. They're a lot less scripted and last minute, where Tessie's thoughtful and she puts together these dates that are well planned and thought out and considerate of both of us. And I don't do that. That's not my strength. That is my weakness. So we have those, and hats off to her planning a great early Father's Day gift,
go
and
Knicks.
the Knicks pulling off an even better Father's Day gift of beating the brakes off of Cleveland. I'm sorry for y'all Cleveland fans out there, but it is what it is.
So when people ask me to turn it off, like there are moments, and I work hard, I focus hard, and I try my best to play hard. So I surprised Charles and took him to the Knicks game in Cleveland for game 3. And we went, we had a great time, they won. And I said, hey, we should stay for game 4. We called, made arrangements back at home, everything's a go, and we stayed for game 4. That is my version of turning it off. That is my version of turning it off. We had fun. We had an impromptu, let's stay for game 4. We rented a Jeep, rode up to Canada, saw the Niagara Falls, and
And we still ended up talking about work, which that's
we
me
did.
working on it, understanding there's work that needs to be done even though we're off. Had to get some different marketing things done, so I understand the bigger picture, and it's not always going to be you can't. We don't have the luxury all the time to just look. I'm a completely tune out, get off the grid. There's still that work that
I
has
don't
to be
even
done.
want to. So when you said we don't have the luxury, I enjoy what I do. I really do. So it makes it easy for me to do it all the time. For us to stay for that game, it didn't negate the responsibilities that we had, because we had a meeting on Monday while a lot of the world was barbecuing and chilling. We had a marketing meeting, a very serious marketing meeting. So we pivoted. We went to Best Buy, bought a laptop. We went and bought a laptop, did everything that needed to be done so that we didn't miss a beat. We still met with our team on Monday. We still did the marketing meeting, put some things in place, made some calls to some clients, and then got back to the party. But we carved out the 4 or 5 hours to do what needs to be done. Because again, I say it all the time, I'm willing to do what a lot of people won't so I can live the way most can't. And again, being able to have that experience comes with some responsibility,
But
which means I had to work a little bit.
fortunately, unfortunately, some of that information that came from that coach, you have to schedule your dates. You have to, and it sound horrible in the beginning, like I'm scheduling time to spend time with my wife, but I actually look forward to those days. And in my mind, it looked one way where we're not going to talk about work. It's not going to be any work events, and that's not realistic. But at least we have that day where it's not as much work, and I do have some of her undivided time, and being an adult, understanding.
But it's not just my undivided time, because we will go and I'll say I'm tapped out. no, I need you to look at this. And you will do that, not as much as me, but make no mistake about it.
I
There
do
are
it.
times that I have turned it off and I don't want to do anything else.
She does it.
And you are the one that's
And
working and
and
want
I
to
will
have the
tell myself
conversation.
the
I'm like,
excuse.
sir,
I will
I
tell
can't think
myself
of
the
nothing
excuse.
else.
I don't care because you're gonna wake me up in the middle of the night. Hey, I have an idea. Or when I don't want to talk about it,
On your own stuff. It's
it
not my
look,
fault.
it ain't.
You
I'm
don't turn
saying
it off as easily as you sound either.
I do. I turn it off way better. I can turn it off real good.
Okay, you say you can turn it off real well, but I'm just saying there are times that
I don't do it.
you do not turn it off
This is true.
and you have the laptop out and I'm saying, Charles, and you're like, I know I got to send this email out or I got to look at this thing or whatever. And you don't do it as much as I do it. But
10-1.
understanding, well, because we have different roles, 10-1, our responsibility is 10-1 and what has to be done
This
in the
is
firm.
50-50. We divide all the tasks equally.
What is your number one task?
Take care of you.
I knew you were going to say that.
If she goes crazy, nothing else matters. I got to make sure that we keep all of this in order. And again, I lose focus a lot, so she has to keep me focused. But I got to make sure she don't go crazy. If she go crazy and I go crazy with her, it's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, but I think it's taken 20 years to kind of be okay with our level of crazy. Like it matches for us, it works for us. It's only us, and
I know what she expects.
same.
And when it doesn't happen, whoo, you gotta learn how to dance and pivot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because it's not always we've had some really ugly arguments and be ready to kill each other. There are days where I want to run him over with a semi.
I've never felt that way about her.
Back up, run over you again. Boop, 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 boop. Truly.
I am appalled.
Truly.
I have nothing but
And
the
I'm
most
like,
love and
don't
admiration
you
for you.
understand?
And I love you so much, I would never want to run you over with a semi.
See, this is what I mean. This comedic relief is what I need sometimes because
It's not comedic. This is from my heart.
I am focused and I can get too focused and I can get tunnel vision on what I'm doing. If you look at these books that's on here, look, truthfully, this is not for show. Like these books that I have on this table, these are books that I have read and reread. Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. This is true.
I read
The
some of
Secret.
it. I read that
Man's
one.
Search for Meaning. These are books that I've read. Every book that's on this shelf behind me, they're books that I've read.
I have looked at all of them. Some I've read. Only so that way, I have to grow some too. And some of the reason for coming on the firm the second go round was hey, I want to do this. I want to scale the business. And me going to some of the stuff is like, okay, I need to be tapped in and in tune with whatever it is you're doing. I don't want to be left behind, but I also don't want to be clueless about what's going on. And then going to some of these events with her, like, that doesn't sound bad. And all right, that book that she's reading, it can't be all bad. Let me take a look at it because, like he said, my personal growth, got to make sure that personally I grow so the relationship grows, which then the business grows. I mean, the business is a priority, but it's not the top priority for me. The personal growth and then our relationship and then the business and the family is included in that. But I just say all that to say she's reading these books. Yeah, I'll read it. If this is a good one, you should read it. I'll read it. I'll listen to it. I'm not going to tell you I read them. I'm an audiobook kind of guy, but I will try to make sure that I tap in and have an idea. So when you have some of this focus and determination in this is what I want to do, I can at least understand where it's coming from and have a better idea of understanding you and where you're coming from with it. So I can have something additional to bring to the table. At least I hope that I can.
I think it's important that we grow together. We don't have to work together, but working together takes a lot of concentration to give each other space and grace to make mistakes, share responsibilities, change. I have the right to change my mind, and I do often because it's just really important that I understand the people that work with us, for us, including each other, understand that what we did to get to this level will not get us to the next level. What we did to get to this level will keep us at this level. But if my aspirations are to be at this level, I needed you to understand the journey that I'm on and what it takes. And so you deciding to come work with me, I think was really good. But
Kicking and screaming.
we had to.
That first round was rough, and I didn't want to revisit that. We disagreed on a lot of stuff and how it needed to be done, the order, the time, and like I said, it took some growth on both parts. But
I think working together, having KPIs, key performance indicators for both was very important, or like it would have been impossible without it. So our emotions are not involved in it together. If your KPI, if we're running this house, what is it that you're going to be responsible for doing? Let's get that understanding first and put it in writing so your emotions are taken off the table. My emotions are taken off the table. If we have a car washing business and we agree that you're going to wash 10 cars a day and I'm going to wash 10 cars a day, if you don't hold up your end of the bargain and get your 10 cars washed, you should expect me to be irritated, aggravated. You should expect some serious conversations. The same way that if you worked at the fire department, they have an expectation and they outline what your job is. You don't wake up every morning and decide what you're going to do. And so
understand.
if us working together meant your roles are written out and your tasks and job responsibilities are written out the same as any other employee for yourself and for me. You have a W-2 paycheck, I have a W-2 paycheck. Some of it was treating each other like employees when it came to the business and what was the minimum expectation. So that what I expected
Like a parenting plan. It's a
was
starting point. You can change it, and things change, and it's never exactly the same, but we have a baseline of what's expected.
I needed you to understand what I expected from you if you were going to join. And it had nothing to do with you. Oh, Tessa, you just being difficult. I want you to understand this is what success looks like for you in this role. And you need to understand what that is. And if we change it, that's fine. But until we change it, unless we change it, this is what it is. So you knew exactly what I was expecting. And it would be fair to you that I don't come in tomorrow and we have a new issue. And so I expect you to do that. And then this changes and do that. This is your key task, responsibility. And I have my key task, and they are very different. But you must perform your position. It has nothing to do with us sharing a name or a bed. This is your job and your responsibility, just like for me, I have my task and my responsibility. And so it kept a lot of those arguments at bay because you knew what was expected of you and you knew that you had to reach that. And if you didn't, we needed to have a conversation about it the same way anybody else on the team had KPIs. Every position has a KPI, including my job. I have KPIs. So everybody had things that they're responsible for. And when that is clear, it eliminates a lot of the misunderstandings, hurt feelings, and unnecessary arguments about what is expected of the other person.
One of the benefits, it probably bothers me the most, is my wife is an over communicator. So before we even get to the point that I didn't handle those tasks, she was already telling me, "Did you do that? Did you remind?" So it maturing and getting a little bit older, I can appreciate it a little bit more now that, yeah, she's on top of you to finish these things, but you forgot, right? So it's she's telling you, but it's going to help you in the long run and not taking offense to some of those things. So that was learning your person, learning your weaknesses, and appreciating the strengths that they have to make you better at the position that you're doing. So I mean, it's the strengths and the weaknesses, along with her driving so hard, like, babe, all right, look, you got to calm
I'm an
down.
over communicator, but you also have ADD. And if I don't remind you two, three times, sometimes it's going to be forgotten. So I'm never going to put you in a position to fail. And if I see that this is due by Friday and it's Wednesday afternoon, like, hey, did you remember this?
No,
Okay, please make sure you get it done. Remember, it's due Friday by 3.
but then her
It's a
working
gentle
on,
reminder.
yeah, working on those, and now they're gentle reminders.
Now they are.
Yeah, in the beginning they were rough and abrasive and woo, like sandpaper.
Yeah, because I
So
already have my job to do, and I felt very aggravated that I have to remind you to do yours.
what's a soft? It was just a gentle. Hey, love. Did you remember to pay that? You know what? I forgot. I
You know
got
what
you.
the interesting thing was is that part of that personal growth is you needed to be reminded or prompted to remember your task. But and that was not an issue for me, but I had to realize I had different issues. I had different issues. And at home, we'll say, it's the same thing at home. I'm like, Charles, your shoes are there in the middle of the floor.
Shoe's been there for the last
Again.
20 years.
He was like, you should
Let that
find something
go.
else to argue about. They're not like,
Ain't moving them shoes.
but not just that.
Not to be rude or disrespectful. I don't leave them in the middle of the floor so you can trip over them. I trip over them too, and it makes me mad. Damn shoes.
But even outside of the
They're
shoes,
still there.
what I had to realize is why I'm talking about the shoes. I'm focusing on these shoes, but if I literally look 6 feet over,
Your shoes over there too.
no, they're not. If I look 6 feet over, my shoes are not there because that's what annoys my soul is your shoes are in the middle of the floor. When I look 6 feet over, my jacket is there.
Imperfect.
Or I take off my dress and I leave it on the bed or on the chair or something like that. And he's like, your clothes are all over the place. So while I'm focusing on what he did wrong, which was leave your shoes, I will forget that I have my imperfections, which is not the same as his. His is shoes, mine are clothes. And the same is true at the office. You forget an appointment, but my thing is something different. And so all of us need grace. And so all of us need to extend grace. It's just different. He's a car person. I love to travel. That used to be an argument, how we spent money. We paid bills and so on and so forth. But I'm like, why are you spending so much money in the car? That's crazy. I would never buy a muffler. I would never spend all this money on
Just
this.
spend all that money on a tree.
Oh, I would spend money on
Or
a
some
tree.
rocks to go in the yard.
Absolutely.
Rocks? You can't play with these. They don't give back. They're literally sitting in the yard. I can't do anything with this, but understanding that this is what you like, this is what makes you happy. When you come home and you see these rocks in that tree in the yard, it brings you peace and serenity. That's great. I'm gonna break one law at a time, and that car that I want, I'm gonna speed in it. Hopefully, I don't get a ticket, but my wife told me to only break one law at a time, and I listen and I've learned.
When I met you, I was not into clothes, and I had never spent $100 on a pair of shoes, or like I didn't own a pair of jeans that was $100.
She was cute though.
Thank you. But my point is, you spend a lot of money on shoes and clothes, and I will go in the grocery store and spend. We went to the grocery store yesterday, spent $1,000, and seriously, spent
Or we'll go to the Home Depot.
seriously.
Would you call it nursery?
Yes, I like that.
And spend,
or another nursery.
And spend an amount on, this is for a tree.
Mm-hmm.
It don't have no fruit. It don't. You can't.
I would spend a few $100s on a tree.
So again,
on a rock,
the moral is
on a bush.
Knowing
Mm-hmm.
your person, giving them some grace,
Mm-hmm.
and being able to talk through the highs and the lows and the things that you don't agree on, to hopefully eventually you guys will get better at dealing with resolution and conflict. But it's going to take time, and it's not going to happen overnight, but a little bit of grace is needed from both parties, and learning your person.
In business and in relationships. If you have that other person as a cheerleader and they truly want you to win, the rest of this stuff will kind of work itself out. If like I'm always cheering for you to win, I'm always gonna support you, even when you aggravate my soul.
Why is it so much aggravation? You don't never aggravate. This has been a common. This has been a reoccurring.
Because I'm being.
I got ran over by a car.
Listen, people,
I'm aggravating your
this
soul.
is the thing. This is the thing. People assume that we are smiling and happy all the time. Somebody who worked for us, I was talking to him. He was talking to me about his girlfriend. He's trying to think whether or not he's going to propose.
Told him you wanted to run me over with the bus.
Okay, but this is my thing to them. He was like, "Oh, you guys are goals," and I said, and I responded to him and saying, "By goals, you mean two crazy ass people who know that we're imperfect, but we've decided to be imperfect together, to give each other grace and space to grow and grow together." That is what a good relationship looks like. It's being honest that we are not the same person. You're different, I am different. We work together. So that's an extra layer of tension on top of the relationship because we're together a lot. So understanding that you need grace and you have to give grace, and that there'll be days that you aggravate me. There'll be days that I aggravate you. What does that look like? How do we move around that? How do we come back from that? There's no perfect relationship because relationships are built of imperfect people. And that is what I'm saying, that there are days that you literally aggravate me and get on my nerve, and it's mutual. But we have learned how to move through that with time, experience, grace, counselors, coaches, friends, family, prayers,
Children,
blessings, like so many
cousins,
things
uncles, sisters,
have poured into
grandmas.
that. And so we're perfectly imperfect together. And that's all I'm saying. So working together is no different. Understanding our imperfections, making a decision to work through them, overcome them, and keep it moving. So you gotta learn how to step left and move forward. All right.
So, like, love, subscribe, all those good things. Send your questions in if you want to know what it's like to work with your spouse and how you make it through. I mean, you can post a question, you can ask. We will try to respond to it. Um, and we appreciate you tuning in. Hopefully, you picked up some things that will help you with your business and working with your spouse, or you watch something and learn something to move the needle.
Absolutely. Vows and Verdict, episode 3.